Hi, welcome. In this video, I'm going to help you get started with Program 6. Program 6 is very similar to Program 5, except that we're going to use input-output parameters as well as pass by copy. So let's take a quick review of Program 5. Here is my code for Program 5. And in Program 5, I have 3 functions. Actually, let's take a look at Program 5 on the assignments. So Program 5, I know this is Program 6, but in Program 5, we have these options and we have 3 functions. We have the greeting function, the view and get selection function that's going to display the options. These are the options right here: G to view the gas prices, B to purchase gas, P to purchase gas, B to view your balance, and U to add money to your account, and Q to quit. These are the functions. We have view and get selection that has a character return type, and then we have process selection. This is Program 5. So now let's take a look at Program 6. Program 6 is very similar, only we are going to add input-output parameters. So let's take a look at Program 6. So Program 6, we're going to have the same menu options, but we're going to also implement the option for B, and we're going to add money when for the option for U. But look at our functions. We still have 3 functions. We have the greeting. This could be the exact same greeting function as your Program 5, so you can copy and paste that from Program 5. But the view and get selects function is going to have an input-output parameter. So this is the view and get selection function from Program 6. The view and get selection function from Program 5 has a character return type. The view and get selection function from Program 6 has a character input-output parameter. So we're going to use the address and share the address between the main function and the function, the view and get selection function. And then from Program 5, process selection just took in the selection and then printed a message based on what that was. Where here, process selection will take the selection and print a message based on it, but we're also going to update the balance. All right, so let's get started with Program 6. So here it's got the same menu options, and here is the sample output. So the only added features to Program 6 are going to be when you select B, it's going to display the current balance, and when you select U, you're going to add money to the account. All right, so let's also look at the instructions here where it says display the user when they enter B, and you want to add money to the account when the user enters U. So we did not do those 2 features. The functions are different. So my suggestion to you to get started would be to have your Program 5 code available for those things that you can copy and paste from Program 5 to Program 6, but start with the skeleton that I'm providing. So I'm going to download this one, and I'm going to create an empty project in Visual Studio for Program 6. So, empty project, and this, I'm going to put it on my desktop, and this will be Program 6 Spring 2021. I create my new project, then I do project, add new item, and the name of the source code, Sorgente prog 6.c. All right, so here I got my source code file here, and I have the Program 6 that I downloaded here, and I'm going to copy and paste that into my compiler. All right, so let's see if this code that I gave you compiles. So first of all, it starts out and it has, we're going to use the toLower function for processing our letter. It has the greeting function, the view and get selection function, which is not a character return type. Now it's a void return type with a character input output parameter. The process selection function, which does take the character, but it also takes the address of the balance. So that's something that's new. So in our main function, we have our choice. We have our balance is initialized to 0 at the beginning of the function, at the beginning of the main function. I have added down here the greeting to help you get started. You should make a better greeting than mine. And I have provided for you to get you started with the process selection and the view and get selection. So let's build this and see if it compiles. And one by one, implement some things. All right, so look at this. I do have an error. So the choice has and main is declared here, but it's testing it, and I have not provided a value for it. So let's take that from our program 5 code. So in our program 5 code, we get a value for choice for our variable right away. All right, so now instead of doing it like this, we're going to use an input output parameter. So all right. So oh, I should have put that before. All right, let's do it. Oops. We need to initialize here, not there. All right. Sorry about that. All right. So this is the beginning of our main function. We have our choice in main, which has no value. So now we want to get a value for this variable before we test it, because this is our test. So this is our initialization, and this is our test. And so let's see what we need to do here. Well, we have a little red squiggly line here, because if you look at our view and get selection function, it does not have a character return type. So what we need to do is we need to change our function call so that we are, and I'm assuming that you watched the lecture videos on how to use input-output parameters before watching this video. So we're going to use this as an input-output parameter. So what we're going to do here is we're going to view and get the selection, and we're going to view and get the selection by passing our variable the address of the variable to this function. Then this function is going to take the address of the variable, and then it's going to process it, and then we're going to change it to lowercase, and then we can test it. All right, so now let's try to build it and see what happens. Okay, so now it built, and let's go see this function call and see why this function definition and see what happened. So let's trace our code. So here's the function prototype, view and get selection. I'm going to pass it an address of a character. In the main function, I'm going to declare this character. Again, I am repeating that you should have watched all the lecture material before doing this assignment. If you jump in and try to do this assignment along with me, and you don't know what address of means or any of that, you're going to struggle, because I'm assuming that you've already watched the videos in order to do this. I'm declaring my character. I'm calling my view and get selection function and passing the address of my character. Then I'm doing just like I did in program 5, changing it to lowercase, and then I'm testing it. So there must be a way that it's getting a value. So I need to jump down to my view and get selection function and see what's going on. Okay, my view and get selection function is taking my character, but we need to ask the user to enter a character. So I'm not really sure why this is working. So let's ask the user to enter a character. So we're going to say printf. Actually, I'm going to take that from program 5. All right. Where's my view and get selection? So I'm going to take this part from program 5, the view and get selection, and then we're going to see what we need to change. All right. So here I am in my view and get selection function, but I don't need to have a letter here. I'm going to that's why people are doing that. All right, so here I'm going to give the menu options. So here I'm going to present, here are the menu options. And those options are G, U, B, what are the rest of the menu options? The menu options are G, P, B, U, and Q. All right, so here I'm going to print. Here are the menu options: G, U, B, P, and Q. Then I'm going to say, here are your menu options, and then I'm going to get the option from the letter, from the user, but instead of scanning into a letter, I'm going to scan directly, and you need to update this input to the user. Here are your menu options, G, U, B, P, and you need to make it nicer so it looks better. And then you're going to tell them, select your option. Select the option. All right, so you present the options, you tell the user to select the option, and then the user is going to, so before in program 5, we displayed the options, enter G for, or whatever, we could have said, here are the options, here are the options. So this was program 5 that you've already been working on, here are the options. So program 5 has a view and get selection. You declare a character, you display here are your options, you scan into that character, and then you return that character. And the return type is char, so it matches. In program 6, we're going to say, here are your options, select your option. The user's going to enter it, and it's going to go straight to selection pointer. So if you notice, I don't have the ampersand here anymore, but I still have the space here in my scanf. Then this selection pointer is going to, when I call the function with the address of choice in main, it's going to, by an input-output parameter, by sending this address to the view and get selection function, it's going to automatically be modified in both the main function and in this function. And we can test that by saying printf you entered %C, and now we're going to test it and make sure that it works. So let's trace the code one more time. Okay, you declare a character here, you pass the address of that character to this function. This function is going to get called, and it's going to, and by the way, I'm leaving the greeting for you guys to do, because you can use the same greeting from other programs. I'm helping you how to do this other part. This selection pointer is going to be declared and point to the same location as the address of choice in main. That will be at the same address. You ask the user to enter a letter, whatever letter they enter, that letter will be go to this address and then will be assigned back to this variable choice in main. So let's build it and test it and see what happens. All right, select an option. I'm going to select a U. You entered U. Oh, and then what happened? Well, hopefully you guys are watching this and figuring out that what happened is I have a loop here. So I have, this is the initialization for my loop. This is the test for my loop, but I have not done anything for the update for my loop. So now I need to copy and paste this again inside here so I have an update. So let's go over this again. I declare a variable called choice in main. I pass the address of that variable over to this function. I echo back what the user entered. I change it to lowercase. I test that the user did not enter a Q, and then I'm going to get another letter from the user, and I will continue to get letters from the user until they enter Q to quit. So let's test it. Oops. All right, I enter a G. You enter G. I enter W, you enter W, I enter Q, it quits. All right, so I feel pretty good that that's working. So now the next step is to process the selection. So remember here in your view and get selection, you should make a much better, you should explain what a G is, what a U is, what a B is, and what a P is. So I'm going to go here to my program 5 code so that I can copy and paste this, and I don't have to type that out again. So the process selection from program 5 took in the character selection. So let's go to our program 6 code, and I can copy and paste here. So if the selection is a G, I'm gonna say you selected G, and this is where I will display the gas prices. If it's P, you selected P, you will make a purchase. So now I need to add B and U, right? So you selected B, you selected B. Here you will see the balance. Oops. And you selected U, and here you will update the balance. Add money, whatever, add money. All right, so let's go through our choices. We have, if the user selects G, then we just say, here you will display the gas prices. Again, in program 7, we're going to completely implement everything and put it all together. So it's very important that you work on program 5 and program 6 and get a good understanding of what you're doing through these 2 programs, because program 7 is going to put it all together. All right, you selected P, here you'll make a purchase. You selected B, you'll see the balance. You selected U, here you will add money, otherwise it's not valid. Okay, that's great, and our function looks nice. However, if we want to try to call this function, so we go here into our main, and we call process selection. This takes 2 arguments now instead of just 1. The first argument is just like program 5, it's going to take the character. The second argument is going to be the address of our balance. So this is the second input-output parameter. So the first parameter is just an input parameter by copy. It's going to make a copy of the choice. And here we're going to take the address of the balance in main. So we're going to go in here and let's test it and see what happens. All right. So here you would display your options much nicer than I did. So G, you selected G. U, you will add money. B, you will see the balance. P, you would make a purchase if we were, and Q, quit. So they're all working. So the only things left to do, there's 2 things left to do, which I'm going to show you right now. The first thing that you need to do is if they select B, you want to present the balance. So you just do printf \n, the balance is %.2f, and here we have this comes in here, balance pointer. So again, I'm assuming that you have watched the lectures on input-output parameters and pointer arguments. You do not print onto the screen balance pointer because balance pointer is actually an address. You need to get to the value at. So in this case, when you do this, it should print $0. Let's test it. All right, select B. Your balance is 0. Perfect. I don't like the fact that I should put \n here, but that's okay. And then U, so we need to declare a variable here, double amount. I'm just going to initialize it to 0 to start out. All right, so this is going to allow the user to say how much they want to add to their account, enter that, and add it to the balance. So all you do here when they select U is you selected U. Here you will add money, and you could just say, how much do you want to add? How much? Question mark. Then you're going to scanf, %LF, into that amount because you're going to add it to the balance. So it'll be address of amount. And then you're going to add it to the balance. So we're going to go the value at balance pointer equals the value at balance pointer plus amount. Now I'm doing all of this for you, so I'm doing it fast on purpose because I want you to go back and understand what's going on. And if you don't understand what value at means and address of, please go back and review the Module 7 lecture material. So I'm going to test this, make sure that it updates it. If I select B, I have $0. If I select U, I can add $20. If I select B, I now have $20. If I select U, I can add $50 more, so it should now be 70 unless I made a mistake. If I select B, it is now 70. So I think that it is working. So I hope that you're going to be very excited for Program 7 and put it all together and actually make real gas, not real, but make a gas purchasing app that with all the functions implemented. All right.